Testing, testing. Check, check, check.
think how many do we need again, Beatrice, for quorum?
12.
12, okay.
12.
Okay, so when I'll do the roll call, I'll just make sure that we have, otherwise we have to wait for folks to log in. So I'll start the meeting now and then we'll make sure we have quorum when I do the roll call. All right, I will now call this meeting of the Climate Change Advisory Committee to order. We are broadcasting live. As part of this meeting, all our meetings are webcast live by the City of Hamilton. And then just because this is an all virtual meeting, just for people to kind of raise their hand if they are, if they have any questions, or if they're approving a motion or have any, want to speak to any of the motions or any input. So I'm just going to go through, and what I'm going to do just to try and be efficient on this one is I'm going to just, I can see who the participants are, and then I'm going to kind of identify that they're there and then just speak out that we do have roll call for it. So I'm going to start out with Frank. You're here as well, right? So we got one there. Okay. Juliana is here. I can see that. And Jen is here. Jen Matthews is here. And Jordan Boyer is here. Mary Ellen is here. Matthew Tuddy is here. Shelley Rempel is here. Sue Heenan is here. Tran Nguyen is here. Zach Kuzak. I think I got that pronounced something close. I apologize if not. So we still don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We don't have yet quorum.
11, including yourself, Gabby? Is that?
Yeah, I counted myself on that one.
6.
So we just might have to wait just a minute or two for people to log in. Oh, I just see a Don.
So I think that's 12 with a Don.
That gives us quorum.
Hi, yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Then I can also see Cameron is here as well. And Alex Wilson. So we definitely have quorum. All right. Next, I'm going to read the land acknowledgements. The City of Hamilton is situated upon the traditional territories of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Mississaugas. And this land is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which is an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We further acknowledge that this land is covered by the Between the Lakes purchase in 1792 between the Crown and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. And today, the City of Hamilton is home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island. And we recognize that we must do more to learn about the rich history of this land so that we can better understand our role as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers. All right. So we do have an agenda for today. It's a relatively short agenda, and I appreciate everybody's patience on this one. Can I just have a mover? Well, actually, first things I should ask, is there any changes to the agenda that people would like to make?
There are no changes.
No?
The chair.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So then if I can have a mover and a seconder for the agenda. Sue, I have a mover is Sue. Seconder, please. Oh. Excellent. Thanks, Shelley. So we have Sue and Shelley for mover and seconder. Appreciate that. And that motion is carried. Any declarations? I'm assuming there's no declarations of interest on the budget that we need to approve. I can assume that that is okay. If there's any declarations, just raise your hand. Nope. Excellent. We shall move on. I do need a mover. Okay, so I should first ask, I just need the mover. Well, actually, if there's any changes to the November 26th meeting notes.
Through the chair, no.
No? Okay. Is this meeting recorded, by the way? I don't believe we are recording it.
So it's on YouTube. So it's live streamed on YouTube. That's
But
how it's
we
recorded.
can,
Yeah,
oh,
so
but it's not
watch.
recorded.
Well, you can watch it on YouTube. So
But that's not, yeah, it's not recorded, right?
Well,
So we have,
I mean, you can after the meeting's over, you can still watch it. So yes, it is.
how long is it
recorded.
actually on YouTube?
That's a good
Forever? Like-
question. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Because I think in the past we haven't had recordings for our meetings. And I think Dan's asking just because it would help with the meeting notes.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's the reason.
Okay. I'll look into that.
Okay. But we're
Yeah.
we're not recording this one for this. So the meeting notes will just is just from this meeting itself.
And it is being recorded on YouTube. So I don't know how long it stays up on the YouTube channel, but it is being recorded through the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the counselors might be able to answer, but I think it's at least a week or 2 weeks that it stays up on the YouTube before they kind of cycle through.
Until they take it off. Okay, perfect. I think Dan said that this is good for her, so she's good because she's generously taking notes for us for our meetings. All right. So just a mover and a seconder for the meeting notes. If I can have someone to move for the November 26th meeting notes. You can just raise your hand. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Adan. Excellent. There's no communications for this meeting. So just wanted to kind of give everybody a heads up on that one. We don't have any delegation requests. We did approve a delegation request at the November meeting, but just to make it, we thought it was fair to keep that for the January meeting, which will be an in-person meeting. We thought that might just be easier to bring that delegation into the January meeting and then have in-person presentation and Q&A discussion. So just a heads up that delegation that was approved at the November meeting will take place in the January meeting. We do not have any staff presentations for this meeting. We only have one discussion item, and that is the Climate Change Advisory Committee budget. And that is for 2025 Climate Change Advisory Committee budget. Is anybody going to be sharing their screen, or can someone share their screen just to show that budget, just so that everybody can have it if they review
Sure.
it? Just thank you.
I'll do that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Just to confirm, Gabby, there's 2 discussion items. There's one related to
the
budget,
update report, my budget.
and then the
My
update report.
yeah.
Okay, so I think we have here the incident. So, Gabby, did you want to go over this, or did you want me to talk
If you
about
can
it?
go over it, that would be great.
Yeah, so incidental costs basically are the meeting room here at City Hall, and any meeting rooms or any other applicable meeting expenses that the working groups will need in 2025. And then, so that would be 4,000 for that item. And I'm just gonna, special events project costs, so that's going to be for any workshops that the committee plans, or any workshop that the working groups plan, as well as guest speakers fees and rentals or refreshments that throughout 2025 that may come up. So those are the two. We group them in 2 separate item lines, so that together that comes to a sum of 9,000, as in the previous budget that we had for this committee.
Are there any questions? And one of the things that we were having a conversation with earlier, like when each of the working groups, when they submitted their terms of reference, put a budget item in there, those budget items in those terms of reference do not add up to the cost in this budget. But we also recognize that the working groups don't necessarily know what costs they will be incurring. So this is the budget that we can work within the working groups. So keep that in mind as the working groups progress their work, that there is the ability to bring in experts, provide them with honorariums, that they're giving presentations on specific topics. Don't feel that you're all alone on this one. There is support from the budget and from the staff to help move those items forward and advance the conversation. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking of the work plan for the upcoming working groups and what kind of supports would be of value and expert advice or expert kind of expertise brought in for those working groups. All right. Any questions on the budget? Okay. Then can I ask for a mover and a seconder for the projects? And based on that, I will be, thank you, Ian, as the mover, and the seconder, I would just could use a hand up for the seconder. All right, thanks, Zach. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. So we got mover is and a seconder. All right, excellent. And Zach is the seconder. All right, that motion is carried. The next item is the Climate Change Advisory Committee 2024 update report. And that is, Trevor, are you going to be sharing? Oh, you got it, Beatrice, you're sharing your screen.
Yeah, and sorry, Gabby, can we just go back to that previous vote? I just want to make sure we've covered our bases because that is an important one.
Yep.
With these discussion items, we got a mover and a seconder. I think we need a full committee vote though, don't we?
Oh, okay. Then let's do that just on the just in case. Can we have everybody who approves the budget? Everybody's got their Frank, I see his hand up. Dan. If folks can just raise their hand. Ian. I
Looks
see
like we
Frank.
have everyone.
Jen, Juliana, Zach, Sue, Matthew, Tran, and all right, Lucia's voted for it as well. All right.
And sorry, Gab, just to help you out here too, just because it is all 100% virtual, it might be beneficial just so everyone lower their hands now, and then you can ask, is there any?
Yeah. Anybody not approving the budget? No one does not approve it. Oh wait, Julianne, I see your hand still up there. I'm just seeing if there's that's
leftover, it. Yep.
Leftover. Just go ahead, Julianne. Just make sure you're okay with it. The budget. Yeah. All right. Julianne's hand is good. All right. I think we're good. Okay. And then back to the 2024 update report. And is there a particular staff person who will be speaking to this?
Beatrice, it's up to you. I'm happy to provide just a quick context and without getting into too much detail of what we previously discussed about, but this is a citizen committee report that any advisory committee needs to complete every year. And this helps to support future budget requests. It doesn't rely on it. So the previous budget that you voted yes for, Beatrice has written a staff recommendation report, and that will be kind of the vehicle. This will go as a separate item, but in the same meeting. And it's really just meant as a high level summary of the CCAC activities through 2024. I think next year we will be looking for CCAC members to help with this writing of this because you know your work the best, and the different working groups can provide more detail and input. Just given the other report related to voluntary advisory committees, we really had to pivot quickly and set up this meeting very quickly and write this report very quickly, all to get it into the General Issues Committee slated for January 15th. Beatrice, just double checking I have that date right, I believe.
Sorry, that's right. I hope you can hear me. Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So just month by month summary, we just summarized activities that took place. April obviously was the inaugural meeting, and then June, that was when we discussed potential working groups ideas and started brainstorming about what that would look like. In August, the third meeting, we looked at items such as priority indicators for the Hamilton's climate action strategy, and committee members discussed some of the a list of working groups that they thought they would want to back, and delegated co-chairs and note takers to take charge of each working group. In September, the fourth meeting, we received a staff presentation on the carbon budget and accounting framework from Trevor. And then the members of the CCA, the Climate Change Advisory Committee, provided input on community impact. And there was also city staff were here to discuss the proposed green building standards and deliberate on policy alternatives to enhance its efficacy. A citizens committee report was written and presented to planning committee on October the 1st. And October 29th was our fifth meeting, where members were, we received a presentation that looked at the framework for processing and evaluating urban boundary expansion applications, and staff did note comments that were made in this meeting. And then we also looked at the staff from the OCC presented a list of recommended projects to be funded from the Climate Change Reserve, and important input came from that as well, from this group. And then in November, which was our sixth meeting, there was a motion passed that any surplus funds from the Climate Change Advisory Committee budget be transferred back into the Climate Change Reserve Fund. And then today is, our seventh meeting of the year, and we're looking at just what the budget that we would like to submit for 2025, and that was just passed and confirmed. So, and then I gave a quick update on working groups, a little bit more detail, just to have the different working groups that were there, the 6 different groups that were confirmed, and I put them in a table. So we've got the buildings and a brief description of mandates, climate justice, as you can see, community engagement, technical and governance, nature-based solutions, transportation, and some more highlights on just what some of those working groups did. So if there's something missing, there's always a chance for you to add that information. So with the highlights, we looked at the members of both the buildings and the technical and governance working groups wrote a citizens committee report that I mentioned ahead, and just a bit more detail on what that looked like. And then we also had, in all the directions that came from that presentation, which some great work there. I'm going to scroll here. And then members of the Climate Justice Working Group presented a written delegation to the General Issues Committee on December the 4th. And they were addressing concerns regarding the 2024 city-led projects recommended for climate change reserve funding. And that delegation was received at GIC. And then some members of that group are now looking at, they're looking at documents that I have shared about the climate justice framework, that for feedback and input on some discussion around that. And then members of the Community Engagement Working Group, they've also been reviewing some of our communications engagement strategy materials I've shared, and the Carbon Accounting Framework Engagement Plan. So that's what I have so far for the activities of the 2024 Climate Change Advisory Committee. And if there's more to add that I've missed out, please feel free to add, send it to my way. Thank you.
Thanks, Beatrice. Thank you very much for that. Are there any kind of gaps that people notice at this point in time that we can dig into to point out to? Just looking to see if there's any hands up, any gaps in terms of activities. No? All right, doesn't look like there's any gaps or anything. Anybody have any questions that they want to raise? Just looking for hands. Nope, doesn't look like it. All right, then I think we can go on to a vote for this. I would just ask for a mover for this item to be received and approved? Just raise your hand. Thank you, Tran. We got a Tran as our mover, and if I could ask for a seconder.
I see Shelley's hands up to second.
Perfect. Thank you, Ian. Okay. All right, and that has been passed. The next item on the agenda is for motions.
Sorry, Gabby, we have to do a vote technically.
Oh, we definitely do still have to do a vote. Okay, so just while it's easy on the screen and there's no sharing, if everybody can just raise their hand for approving for it. Thank you. All right, I'll ask everybody if they can throw their hand down. And I'll ask if there's anyone opposed. I thought it was, Juliana. I thought it was part of the agenda, this update report. Beatrice, was this linked to the agenda?
So the actual draft was not linked, just the item was on the agenda.
Oh, okay. Can we send this out just so everybody has it?
Absolutely, through the chair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could just go either add it to the agenda or if we can email it out to people, whichever works better. That would be great. Thank you. And no one was opposed, just for the meeting notes for it. All right, the next one on, there's no motions. The next item on the agenda is actually the dates for 2025. So item number 13, I'm just gonna throw this here, Control C. Let's see if we can get this into the, just in case, you don't wanna have to Control B. Okay, sorry. So we have, just gonna get this in another email where I can actually kind of throw out the dates. But it's in the agenda for all of the dates. Okay. We have it on a monthly basis, except for July, August, and December. So it does mean that there is going to be 9 meetings kind of like scheduled for next year for 2025. If there aren't enough agenda items for any particular meeting, then we would cancel that meeting and then just postpone it to the month after. But we wanted to kind of keep some momentum going for each of these meetings and for each of the working groups to report back in at each of the meetings. Just gonna give the dates, just make sure everybody's got it in their calendar. Hold on one sec here. It wouldn't let me copy it from the PDF.
Beatrice is sharing it now too.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
So we have it there.
Excellent. And I'm gonna throw it into the chat. Here we go. I got it. And we don't need to approve these dates, do we?
Through the chair, I don't think so. I think we're trying to just be more consistent and have everybody have that in their calendars.
And then just so I understand, just to give everybody a heads up, we will be putting calendar invites into into everybody's, like we'll be sending out calendar invites. Is that correct, Beatrice?
Yes, through the chair.
Okay, that would be great, because then if everybody can, this can go into everybody's calendar right at the beginning of the year, then that'll increase the chances of these dates working for folks.
And then Gabby, I'll just quickly also point out that if we do want to have a meeting in July or August, we can. These aren't set in stone in the sense that these are the only meetings we'll have. So while we can certainly postpone meetings, we can also add meetings. So if something comes up, or if we need to meet during the summer and we all want to, or enough of us want to, we can definitely do that. So don't think that these are going to be the only meetings if something particularly relevant comes up that we want to discuss.
Thanks, Ian. Good point. Any questions on the dates? Trevor, take it away.
Just a question and just on that note, is these dates are definitely flexible, and just a question for Beatrice, because these dates may have to change slightly depending on room availability.
Yep.
Just double checking, Beatrice, do we know for sure, are all these dates available for room 264 or not yet?
We don't know, but officially, but the room is usually, it's usually unoccupied at this time of the night, but definitely once I start booking the rooms and sending out the invites so that people have them in their calendar, we'll know better that way. But for now, these were kind of more proposed dates.
Yeah,
Great,
and there's
thanks, Beatrice.
nobody's expectations. If you can't make the date or anything like that, if you can respond, like it's mainly simply the main goal that we have is we do need to get quorum at the meeting. So if we identify that we won't get quorum. So that's one of the things. Beatrice is going to send you out the calendar invite. If you can let us know and either accepting the calendar invite, that would help to kind of recognize that we do actually in fact have quorum that we can achieve at each of these meetings. Or if you can't make it to the meeting, just ahead of the time, if you can send an email to Beatrice, just so she can track them, making sure that we do have quorum for the meetings that do take place. All right. Okay, so I think that's good for those dates. Those will be the ones, there'll be calendar invites sent out to everybody for that. And then the next item on the agenda, I think, anything that people want to raise about wish lists on what they would like to see in future in 2025 meetings. This is a chance as well to raise that for topics that you think are really important to get in front of the committee. If you do have any, this is not your only chance to have some input on that one, but if you do have some suggestions, please do either send me or Ian or Beatrice an email just so we can kind of start developing the work plan for the agenda items for the 2025 meetings. I think are any input that people want to share at this point in time? No? Give it some thought. Never be shy about raising that and sending emails to us to let us know. Then I think our last item on the agenda is just a mover for adjourning the meeting. If I could have someone, thank you, Ian. Ian moved it. And then can a seconder is Zach. So, oh, and then Shelley as well. Can we just, I think, do we have to do a meeting for this one, a vote for everybody? Yeah, okay. So then if everybody can, all in favor of adjourning the meeting, if you can raise your hand now. Excellent, thank you, thank you. Great, and then if people can put their hands down. Anyone opposed to adjourning the meeting? No one opposed. All right, we're good, all right. Then that motion is carried. And I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday break. And we will see you all at the January 28th meeting. Again, if you have input for the functioning of the committee in 2025, now that we have 2024 under our belts, please do let me know. Just send me an email. Do not be shy about kind of giving some helpful suggestions on this one. We're all learning as we're going, so please don't be shy about providing that input. And then looking forward to seeing you all in 2025.
Happy and safe holidays for everybody.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Have a good one.
City Hall all by yourself.
Thank you very much for joining and doing the paperwork on this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Beatrice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a good one, you.
Bye.